City made me who I am today.
Talk to me nice, talk to me honestly. Look in my eyes, don't let it fall on me. Say you're a good guy, make me believe it. Don't wanna hear it, I wanna see it, see how.
My name is Louis Spears. I am an educator and community leader, and I will be the next mayor of Jersey City.
Good evening and welcome to our very first installment of Stay with Spears. I'm your host, Janine Brown, also known as Brown Brilliance. I am so excited to be here with you in this live stream this evening, and also to be a part of this journey with Louis on to becoming mayor. So the goal of today is to hopefully energize our current supporters, gain some new ones, and also convince some naysayers. Be sure to tune in every other Thursday at 8 p.m. to learn about his vision and his strategy so all Jersey City residents can stay and build the community we all deserve. Louis.
Hi, how's it going?
So, I'm thinking about your very first fundraiser, right? And the weather, it was raining. And now it's doing whatever it's doing outside tonight. And so I don't know if this is a coincidence or symbolic in some way.
Absolutely.
But I remember Pam Johnson, she made a post and it was like a storm is brewing. And I'm not talking about the weather. So, this might be our thing. The storm is coming.
Absolutely.
How are you feeling?
So excited to share this platform with the community. A bit nervous, but really excited to be in this position. Yes, good stuff.
Cool. So we're going to jump right on in, right? Because we want to keep it brief and keep our viewers engaged. Today, we're talking about the first letter in your platform, the S in stay. Stay. So why is safety a priority within your platform? And what does a safer Jersey City look like for you?
So before I answer the question, I would like to send my condolences to the families who have lost their loved ones, not just recently, right? But in general. I hear you, I see you, I feel you. My family, we were victims of gun violence as well. And I don't wish that on anyone. And I will be intentional about ensuring that this doesn't happen to any other Jersey City resident. And what does it mean for a safer Jersey City? I love that question. That safety isn't determined or shouldn't be determined by your zip code. I want every resident to be able to walk the cities of Jersey City, irrespective to your zip code, and know that you could safely make it home, right? Each ward in Jersey City has its own, challenges, own, safety issues. And with my approach, I want to make sure that we have a community-led approach to public safety, right? And so what does that look like? That looks like in each ward, there will be quarterly meetings of stakeholders. And the stakeholders may not be the loudest, meaning the ones who always are voicing opinions, or it may not be the ones who we choose all the time, the most popular, but it may be the security guard, it may be the lawyer, it may be the teacher, it may be the doctor, right? It may be, and the clergy in each of the ward. And we will discuss not just problems, right, but also solutions, and come up with measurable action steps in order to achieve the necessary goals, right? And so that's one of them. A safer Jersey City also looks like providing folks with the necessary resources, right? Like resources like employment, resources like education, resources like affordability, right? Just access, making sure that folks know that they belong here based on everything that we create for them.
I love that answer. And so, as a former member of the Public Safety Advisory Board, what you're describing sounds a lot like what they attempted to do and wasn't so successful at. So my question for you is, how would these community-led meetings be different from that? And how do you move the ideas beyond just an idea and put policy into practice?
Wow. Ms. Brown, you're hitting me with the hard questions tonight. I appreciate
Go.
it. So this is a bit different, a lot different from public safety in that as each ward, members of each ward, there's going to be metrics of success. What does success look like? What does success look like for individuals in a particular ward, right? And so instead of using metrics around who was arrested or any other, negative metric, we want to make sure that we look at things like employment rates, right? How, because we know that that's directly connected to crime in our city. We want to look at high school internship opportunities, right? We want to look at career and technical education opportunities. We want to look at mental health. And other social programs. We want to look at, enrichment activities, right? Recreational resources for the people in our community. And essentially, that's what's going to make it a lot different, because we're really getting at those things that affect crime and criminality in our communities.
Absolutely. I definitely agree that there needs to be a comprehensive approach to tackling safety. And so with that comprehensive approach, where do you see the police fitting in to this vision?
So I love police officers, right? And police officers are paramount to this public safety idea, right? And so, just making sure though that as a community that we equip our police officers with the training, with the skills that they need in order to do community policing, that our the type of community policing that our community needs. That's so important. The other big thing is buy-in. We hope to gain buy-in so that the ideas of community-based public safety is something that's done with fidelity, and we can't do it without the support of not just the police officers but also the firefighters and the EMS workers, right? Anybody in the law enforcement. The other big thing too is that we should fund innovative programs that will help support our community and the things that we need. So the reality is that we have state recognized expertise right here in Jersey City, and it's so important. It's so important that we use the expertise to drive programming in our community, and we have to be sure to fund them. To ensure that they're doing it again with fidelity and with the best interests at heart for the community members.
Absolutely. So I just want to highlight some viewers that I can see. I can't see them all, but we have Donna Paulding chiming in. I saw Tamika Borum. There's a guy named the Black Dan Rather. Whoever you are, thank you so much for joining. We see your comments. I have another question, and so I just want to prepare our viewers, right? I'm going to ask another question, and I want you guys to get your questions prepared also, because we're going to take a few. In terms of your children and the work that you do, right? What do you tell your boys about safety? How do you have a safety conversation with them?
So when you're talking about boys, are you? I have so many boys. I have my sons at home. I have my boys of Kismet of Kings. I have young men who I taught in the classroom. When you talk about boys, who are you talking about?
I'm talking about them all, right? Because it may be different conversations for different age groups, right? You have two very little sons, but then you also work with middle school young men, and then you work with high school young men. Is the conversation the same? Does it vary? How do you discuss it? with all of them.
And so I just remember as a kid, um, how as a young man growing up in Jersey City, we had a community resource officer, and his name was Chris, um, and he played with us, in the court. We played, and he was interested in what we were doing. He asked us about school. He asked us about how our days were going. Right, he was very vested. But then I also could think about a time where at Harvard University. Um, I was in the cafeteria, and a police officer walked into the cafeteria, walking in my direction, and immediately I froze. I became anxious. I thought that he was coming to arrest me. No lie, no exaggeration. And I'm like, what did I do earlier today? I started going through the Rolodex of experiences in my head about like, what did I actually do? And Luckily, he came in for food, which wasn't a common practice. I mean, the police officers never came into the dining hall, but I just remember feeling that way. And so there's something that happened in between, the Chris experience and then the Harvard experience in my life. And similar to that, to those experiences, I have to tell my boys something totally different than what I tell my Kismet of Kings young men. So for my boys, my babies, I tell them, police officers are your friends. Police officers, they will protect you. They will take care of us, right? And all of it is very true. I remember going to like a parade, and the police gave AJ, my older son, a sticker, and he walked around like it was a badge of honor, right? And I just appreciated that experience. But something happens in our lifetime where our young boys are not seen as boys anymore. They're it's turned like they turn they're turned into looking into men, like men. Um, and I don't know where the transition happens, but I do know that that's a scary place. So for my Kismet of Kings young men, what I tell them is that make safe decisions, right? Be responsible. Um, um, you know, and how you do anything is how you do everything. That I need them to come home at night, right? And as the mayor, as a future mayor, I want to ensure that our police officers, as well as our young men, that they all make it home safely to their families every night.
Absolutely. It's a
Absolutely.
hard one, right? Because, as an educator and we work in the community with these young people every day, you know, you want to give them a glimpse of the positive, the negative, the what ifs, and it's always difficult to kind of paint the full picture. So thank you for that answer.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and the other thing that I do with my young men, on their license, a lot of them are getting their license. Facebook family stay off the streets. A lot of them are getting their license, and I remember just having the discussion about smiling in their photos, right? that I need them to smile in their photos. So, and whatever the issue is, that they get pulled over for, that when a police officer sees their license, that they're smiling. They see a kid who is smiling on their license, which is totally important, right? And so just a little bit of information that I tell my young men.
I like it. Keep that perception of innocence in boyhood with the
Yeah,
picture of them smiling. So
absolutely.
I wanted to highlight some people, some viewers that we have. Shanna Givens is in the building. Ruben Henderson, thank you so much for watching. Felicia Henderson. I see Reggie Graham, Jonelle Frazier, Pam Johnson. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much. We have John Douglas Houston. Thank you for watching. Shahara. Shahara is in the building from North Carolina. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you guys are sharing this live feed, encouraging your Jersey City folks to follow our pages, because this man right here is what we need. He's going to lead us into the
I can't wait.
light.
I can't wait. That will be one of the greatest life, one of the greatest responsibilities that I would have is to be mayor of Jersey City. I would not take that for granted.
Absolutely. So I'm going to look at some questions right now. We have a question from Kelly Joyce. She would like to know, what would you do to help the elderly and the disabled? She also has a question about housing, parking, and transportation. Ms. Joyce will be talking about the housing portion at another date, but I would love for right now for Lewis to address your question about safety for the disabled and the elderly.
And so, just to give credence to what you're saying, Kelly, Joyce, the reality here is that everything is connected. That's why the state platform is so important, right? So safety is connected to, training and education, which is also connected to access and affordability. Um, you know, I what I didn't tell most of the people what I didn't tell most of the people is that I was a special education teacher. And with the special education, I've learned to really delve into that world, right? Elderly, the disabled, they are, the most vulnerable of our population. And so it's important too to bring their voices so that they're heard. It's important to make sure that resources are given directly to them. I know that with some of the mentally disabled folks have, and I'm talking about individuals with specific learning disabilities and other types of disabilities. It's important that that they get the therapies that are necessary, right? The art therapies, just to ensure that they are getting that they feel safe in their spaces. So I know that there's trauma and that there are a lot of traumatic experiences in our communities. And so it's important that we do things like art therapy, music therapy, and grief counselors and things like that to really assist those individuals as well as the rest of the population with to get over things and to make healthy choices. And the elderly, man, those are my hearts. And I want them to be able to move and and be as agile and as free as possible. And just making sure that policing and community led systems are around them as well. So yeah, disabled and elderly, making sure that we provide the particular resources for them as well.
Nice, nice. And those are our most vulnerable populations, right? So
Yes.
it's important that we take care of them. You have a few questions. Ruben Henderson wanted to know, downtown is building up. When is the hill going to start building? And so, Ruben, I'm going to ask you to tune in the next time, right? Because today's topic is safety. And I think that that's a great question for when we talk about access and affordability. I don't know, Lewis, if you agree, but that's a very valid question, Ruben. When is the hill going to start building up? I think we can have those conversations when we tune in next time when we talk about the housing piece. Other questions. Felicia Henderson says, there are no mailboxes in my community. Yet in other zip codes, there is one on every corner. So true. I'm going to assume where she's from. Lewis, what do you think about that?
We have to make it happen, right? Why aren't there any mailboxes in your community? What does that mean? How does that and then safety, right? The fact that you have to go elsewhere, right? We need to delve into that. And I would like to talk to you personally to ensure that I understand what you're talking about so that we could really talk about real solutions.
So I just wanted to make a note, right? I can be very critical of the mayor, especially because of my experiences being on the Public Safety Advisory Board. And so I don't know if our viewers have noticed, those that follow him on Facebook. But I've noticed that since you have announced that you're running, he is addressing the barrage of violence that's been happening. And he's been notoriously silent about those things, which was part of the issue that I had with him in the city council. So I just wanted to ask you if you noticed it as well, and what can you attribute that shift to?
Of course, I've noticed it, and part of the reason why I decided to run was because of the lack of leadership in that area, and so I'm grateful that he's making mention of it, but I would like to know what are the details in terms of the how, um, and that's basically it.
And so, baby steps. I think that it's important that we pay attention, right? But if that's the push he needed to start being vocal about the things that's happening, especially in Ward F and A, then I say kudos to you, best friend, for lighting a fire up under his behind. Mm-hmm. So it's about that time, guys. This 20 minutes went by pretty fast. Like, we're like 21 minutes in right now, and we don't want to keep you. Precious, I see you have questions, and I'm going to make sure that we take note of these questions that we didn't get to answer tonight. But I want to thank all of you guys for joining in with us. And make sure you meet us back here in 2 weeks, same time, because we're going to be talking about the T in STAY, which is training and education. So that's where we can answer some other questions you have about our young people and moving the community forward. Also, if you want to learn more about our campaign, please visit spearsforjerseycity.com. Sign up, guys. Volunteer. We have to hit the streets. We have to knock on doors. We have to continue to get these petitions signed. We have to do voter registrations. It is going to be an uphill battle and a big push, but as Lewis says, united, we are the answer. So if we can galvanize together, we can make this happen. Absolutely. I believe it. We can do this.
And we are in the streets. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And as you guys all know, right, the incumbent has a huge war chest. Everyone keeps talking about money, 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 money. And so if you can donate, encourage your family to donate, your friends to donate, your colleagues to donate. There are things that we have to do. And like I said, if we galvanize together, we can make it happen. So please be sure to follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, follow us on YouTube, because we're making it happen. You're going to see a lot more of us. And I'm so excited to have all you guys here and be on this journey. Lewis, do you have any final thoughts before we close out?
I'm just adamant about ensuring that all folks in our community feel safe and know that they can that they could freely express themselves in our city, right? We're very clear that when people don't feel like they belong, when they don't feel like that they don't have pride or that they are connected to the community, criminality ensues. So our job right now as a community, and I will make sure that we work in concert together and united. We are the answer, and we're going to work united in concert to ensure that that people feel safe and feel like they belong.
I love it. And so I'm going to end with a comment from Siobhan McMillan. Out with the old, in with the new. Until next time, everyone, thank you for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Jersey City made me who I am today.
Talk to me nice, talk to me honestly. Look in my eyes, don't let it fall on me. Say you a good guy, make me believe it. Don't wanna hear it, I wanna see it. See how
Lewis Spears. I am an educator and community leader, and I will be the next mayor of Jersey City.